Greetings, Starfighters. Welcome to Mad Science Films. I'm Jimmy P, filmmaker and sexual astronaut. First up, please check out our fourth feature film for free over on YouTube. Just search for Little Monster or click on the link in the show notes below. This episode, I'm joined by a very special guest, a founding member of the Welsh production company powerhouse, Broadside Productions, and recipient of his very own Mad Science Films theme tune, Mr. Dan Bailey.
Dan Bailey.
So, you're in the industry full time. It's a paying gig. So, I mean, you kind of hinted at it earlier. You're young. You keep telling us you're young.
I don't. You keep bringing it up.
I'm fairly sure. If we play it back, there'll be a bit of you. So, I mean, in terms of cost of living, you haven't got kids. You're renting. Yeah. Roommates, all that kind of thing. So yeah, I think this is a really key thing. And I remember I was talking to a bunch of Cardiff Uni students a few years ago and kind of saying, look, right now, guys, this is the time that you can make a real punt for it. Look on, the ravages of time and what they've done to me. I've got a mortgage, I've got, kids, I've got a wife, all that kind of stuff that costs. So I mean, hats off to you guys. You twigged early on, where to follow, what focus, to kind of put your efforts. So in terms of then the income, where is that coming from? Is that a mix of different avenues?
Yeah, it's definitely a mix of different avenues. It's the money that we generate through making films from Broadside. We haven't sold a feature yet, so hopefully that will also generate income when we sell the feature potentially. But we're also in a position to understand that if it doesn't make money, we're also financially safe. Mm-hmm. So we're very, very conscious about money. It's not something you could. We've like I said, we've been doing this for 10 years. And you do learn quickly that it's not easy to make a lot of money early on. And I think lots and lots of different things will depend on what you make, reputation, where you live, like you said, what you've got in the background. But yeah, we twigged quite early on to know, like, we all lived with our mum and dad for a long time. Do you know what I mean? It's not glamorous, I was living with mum and dad for a good sort of, I moved out when I was 20. I had to go back because of money. I had to move back, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I had to move back to mum and dad's for about 4 or 5 years. And, I've been renting now for nearly a year with Jan, who's part of Broadside. Mm-hmm. And we do gigs, we do freelance work, with whoever's giving out the work. I will occasionally, say no to certain work if it's not paid and I need to get paid, because obviously now we do have a couple of responsibilities of like you said, rent and stuff like that. But generally we're pretty good when it comes to getting work, and like you said, we work hard. We don't just sort of wander about aimlessly. We work hard to get these opportunities, and we've worked hard since we were 16 to get these opportunities. It's taken us 10 years to be in a position of saying no to things. I'm luckily, for me, in my point of view, I don't have kids. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having children, obviously kids. I'm not saying I have a lot of friends with kids. I have a lot of friends. None of them really convinced me that that's a good idea. But it's a responsibility. Don't get me wrong. I know people who've had kids quite early on in their life, for whatever reason, and gone on to be, do really great things. So I know people who use it as an excuse. So I think it's also about the person, who if you work hard enough, yes, obviously sometimes you will have to say no to work because of, responsibilities like children. And that's just the way of life. But if you can make that work for yourself, if you work hard, you can still be a part of your child's life. If you can find that balance, then yeah, you can still make it work. But we are lucky as a group, as a company, nobody has any children. We all live, we all rent and we all live away from our parents, so we're not sort of, my mum and dad, they're quite not strict, but they're very, very pro. You need to learn how to look after yourself. So from the age of 14, they barely didn't really give me any money. I had to earn my own money when I was 14, get my own job. And, if I wanted to buy something, I had to buy it. If I wanted to go and do something, I had to go and do it. Obviously, they put a meal in front of me every evening. They're not the devil, but they did a good, they did a good job in making me understand the value of money quite early on.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that I'm quite good at managing my own money. And if I can't manage my own money, how are people expecting me to manage a big, a budget on a film?
It's always terrifying when it's somebody else's money.
Yeah, that is a point. But it is difficult. But I would never say that it's not impossible. If you've got certain things that are in your life that make it harder, see it as more of an achievement when you do get to where you want to be, rather than a hindrance. For example, I would very much argue that if somebody got to the exact same point in their career, who's the same age as me, at the exact same point in their career as me, at the same age, and they had a child from the age of, say, 19, 20, I'd say they probably achieved more than I have, because they've had that extra responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's that kind of, you can do it. It's not. It's harder. But the rewards are much bigger. The harder you work, the harder the project, the harder the life situation. If you can overcome it, the bigger the reward. And if you like rewards, then you're in the right industry, because you can be rewarded really nicely.
Yeah. No, nice. So obviously, we talked about Protein. We talked about Jackdaw. What's next then for Broadside? Are you guys gearing up on yet another feature?
So yeah, we've been very lucky again. We haven't released the film since 2018, I don't think, properly, as Broadside, that isn't sort of like a small film or a little corporate vid or anything like that. We haven't released like a big released trailers, we've released little things, but properly, it's been a couple of years.
Yeah.
And we are very much aware of that we're a production company that hasn't really released anything for a year or two. So we are very much focused on getting Protein and In Absentia released. That's our next big thing, because obviously we can. When we did In Absentia, we then took on Protein whilst In Absentia was in post, and I will put my hands up, that probably did affect the post-production on In Absentia, and we've learned from that mistake. It's in one of those learning curves. So we've decided not to take anything on, or go. Well, I say we were not going to take anything on. We've got projects in the pipeline that we are in discussion with. We've got a couple of projects that are in development, very slowly, and like I said, we've got a big team. So one of us will maybe keep development on these projects, while the rest of us look after these other 3 projects.
Right.
So like I said, we're using, the fact that we've got a big team, we're using the skills and the advantages of a big team. We're not just sort of dragging people along. People are there to be there. They're not there to be carried, and people are here with us to sort of move forward. And really, we all want to get to the same place, and that is once we making big budget movies and making a decent wage from these movies and being proud of these movies. So we've got a couple of things in development. I'm not going to say much more than that. They are good films. They're interesting films. They are films that, again, will need bigger budgets. But like I said earlier, we've been quite lucky. We've not actually had to go out, even though we haven't released anything for a while. We've not actually had to go out and look for films. We're very lucky. People keep coming to us with projects. We've had to say no to people, and people that we love and know quite well, because there's just not a big enough budget on it, because a film that comes to us has got a budget on it. Mm. So we're very lucky in that sense. But our main focus now until next year is to release, so Jackdaw's being released in June, July next year. So that will be broadcast on BBC Wales next year in the summer. It's Jackdaw's on a festival run at the moment, or being submitted into festivals. So we've got that time between now and broadcast to get us into a couple of festivals. In Absentia, like I said, is on its way to going into sort of post sound, and then will be hopefully ready to be released next year. And Protein is still on its way, again relatively slowly because of cash, but we have ideas of how to pick up the pace and how we're going to pick up the pace, and the pace has picked up. And by Christmas we'll have something good, and then after Christmas then we're moving into online, and we'll be getting things ready for hopefully a late 2020 or maybe autumn 2020 release. It's not official, that's just where we're aiming for. There will be official release dates online. I'm sure if you follow us on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, then you will see release dates in beginning of next year, spring next year, of when these films will be released next year.
We'll put all the links down there, Dan.
Thank you very much. That's very kind. That's very kind.
Oh, awesome. And something that you said near the beginning is that obviously you've got all the skills in-house. So, I mean, again, after, perhaps a few more collaborations, is the kind of the goal then for, you guys to develop a project yourselves, be fully in control of the project and put that out yourselves?
Absolutely. Tom won't mind me saying this, but Tom obviously and Tom Ridian are this kind of, they've been doing Broadside since they were like 10. Okay, and they've seen it being built up from the grounds. They've seen it from the first brick being laid, and that journey, this building that we're building up towards as big as we can. They've been there on that first day when the first brick gets put in the ground, and a dream of Tom, the whole team are on board, but like Tom is spearheading this. A dream of Tom's is to be able to do an in-house Broadside Films feature. And it would be a dream for all of us to be able to do that. And it is something we would, and we are in the background potentially working on. Again, I'm not going to say anything or express anything.
We'll have a catch up. I'll buy you a drink. You can tell me that.
Yeah. But yeah, that is something we would love to do. Like you said, we've got the in-house skills. We've got, in the future, we're looking to, having people employed by Broadside. Do you know what I mean? And having the 6 of us being sort of the heads of whatever, and sort of having teams and whatever, and the sort of, there's no limit of what we want to achieve, and one of those things that we want to do is create a film within the team, and put our stamp on it rather than collaborating. There's nothing wrong with collaborating. We love collaborating. If we hadn't collaborated, we wouldn't be where we are now. And we absolutely love collaborating. We love collaborating with people we love, and we love collaborating with new people, because then you find new people that you end up loving. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, in-house Broadside film is something that we have spoken a lot about in the last year.
Fantastic. Oh, no, good stuff. Well, Dan, thank you very much for all your time today. I'm going to ask, can we drag you back in a year so we can celebrate? We'll virtually do drinks, or hey, you never know, we might be able to meet in person.
Yeah.
But we'll celebrate the release of In Absentia and Protein, and it'd be good to catch up, obviously, about all your experiences about releasing, distributing, and all of that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah.
So would you join us in about a year?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it, and I think you've given a lot of really useful advice for people starting out, especially if they're looking at doing a production company. And like I've known you guys since 2017, and I've just loved the journey and how smart you've been about developing and growing and expanding the team. So it's a great story. Awesome. And yeah, thank you very much for helping sharing it today.
No, thank you for having me. And yeah, I just, if anybody wants to contact me, just drop me a message. I'm I'm more than happy to speak to new people. I'm more than happy to sort
We'll
of just
put
give advice.
Dan's personal phone number.
Yeah, just drop me a message on Instagram or like Twitter or something. Well, I'll give my own phone number. But yeah, I'm more than happy. I'm not sort of this snob who won't get back to you. I will, and I just love helping people. And if we can help one person in my whole life, then it's a winner, isn't it? So yeah, just give us a shout, or give us anybody at Broadside a shout. We're all really open, and we're all always open to talking to people and collaborating with people. And we just, like I said, we've got that underlying desire and love inside us to sort of spread. So yeah,
There you go, brilliant. Thank you again, Dan.
thank you very much, James.